Hey SB fam, hey carnivores, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Bella the Steak and Butter Gal. Hope you guys are having... Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Hope you guys are having a great day. So I wanted to film a quick intro, giving you guys a full-on update of 31 days without any dairy products. So as you all know, I did no dairy January for myself, just to make sure that I know it is the pasteurized cheese and the yogurts that were causing some of the issues that were rising up during the holiday time. So I succeeded. 31 days of zero cheese, zero yogurt. So for those who are still confused about why I was still eating sticks of butter every single day, I do not consider butter as a problematic or triggering dairy product. In fact, I get a lot of benefits and a lot of healing and satiation from eating my butter. So I did not see taking out butter as something worth doing. However, I was still very committed to doing a full month of no dairy when it comes to the cheese and the yogurts. So I hope that clears up some of the questions that were coming up during my no dairy January experiment. I really tried my best to clear that up as frequently as I could on my stories, in my Instagram, and in my videos here on YouTube. But for those who are wondering, I just don't consider butter as a problematic dairy product. I love my butter and I don't see myself stopping the consumption of butter anytime soon. I really rely on butter as my energy source, as my fat source, and I do know that I thrive and I feel amazing on a very high-fat carnivore way of eating. So with that being said, I just wanted to give a full-on review of how I feel now, 31 days without any cheese and yogurt. So I have my list right here. Firstly, I still do not have a single breakout. No more breakouts. Random acne cystic breakouts just have not happened at all since the day that I abstained from my cheese and yogurts. A lot less hunger pangs throughout the day, so that's still very true. It really is just going through my whole day without any hunger pangs. I have zero thoughts about wanting to eat, about food, meat, butter. Like, I just don't have any desire to eat at all. So I guess not eating the cheese and the yogurt has really affected my hunger, my appetite, and my ability to just stay full throughout the day and not have random cravings or pangs of hunger. Next, less sniffles except when I'm in the cold. So as you all know, I'm in New York City. It's snowing out right now, and whenever I take Simba out, it's quite a drastic change in temperature from the heated apartment where I am right now and going outside in the blasted, windy, freezing cold weather. So I suspect I start having sniffles because of that drastic change in temperature. But besides those circumstances, I really have a lot less sniffles, a lot less congestion in my nose, and a lot less phlegm in my throat. So I know that's also due to the cutting out cheese and yogurt. Very stable mood despite stressful situations. Yes, so that still rings true. I feel like my mood is just super stable, like almost unaffected by things that may be surprising or stressful or even exciting. I'm just chill, you know? And someone in the SB gang mentioned it as feeling like zen, almost a state of zen. I just feel like all day, every day, 24/7, I'm just in my zen mood at all times. It's just like unbreakable. So that's a huge bonus. And finally, I sleep deeper and have less crazy dreams. So that's definitely still true. My whole life, I never really had any issues falling asleep or staying asleep. So it's never really been an issue, but I do notice that I can sleep very well without any type of dreams whatsoever, and when I do wake up, I wake up very well rested and refreshed and energized. So I do suspect that's also due to me cutting out the cheeses and the yogurts. And I do want to just refresh you guys, for those who may have missed, during the holidays I experimented a lot with pasteurized cheeses, pasteurized yogurts, in addition to my beloved raw cheese. So during that experimentation phase, I was starting to get random breakouts on my face. I still have those 2 scars from those huge cystic breakouts, but they were very unexpected. I didn't ever get such breakouts ever since going carnivore. So getting those, I really had a feeling it was because of the pasteurized dairy. So in addition to the breakouts, I started having a lot of congestion, really, really runny noses all of the time, and I was starting to feel very drowsy throughout the day, and my hunger pangs were just all over the place. I was hungry all of the time throughout the day, despite me eating a really fatty, satiating, meat-heavy meal during my OMAD. So that all of those issues are gone. They're completely healed, and I feel back to normal, my amazing self, and I feel like I still don't want any cheese. So initially, my first few weeks of doing this No Dairy January, I was having some serious cheese cravings. The only thing that I was craving was for my stinky cheese. I'm a huge sucker for stinky cheese, and I do think that raw cheese has better flavor, but I also know that raw cheeses are just healthier for us. They're more digestible. All of that amazing probiotic and gut healthy bacteria is still alive. So my plan is, if I do start craving for it, I will incorporate raw cheese exclusively. I'm not going to add pasteurized dairy of any sort anymore in my diet, as I know that that was the root cause of all of those issues. But if I do suddenly have cravings for my stinky cheese, I will be going for raw cheese only. And when I do eat it, I will for sure document how I feel and what happens and my reaction to the taste. So far so good. I've not had any cravings whatsoever, so I'm just going to go with the flow and eat what my body is craving for. And lately, it's just lots of beef, lots of butter, and lots of eggs. Here and there, I'll have some seafood as well. As you all know, I really like my canned unsalted sardines in water, and I'm still eating that. But anyways, let's get back to the video where I show you guys what I eat in a typical week. Oh, but this week it's not quite typical because I'm on my period. So I think that will also be insightful for you guys to see what I tend to eat on my period. It's really not that different, but still. Enjoy the video. See you later. So for day one, I'm going to be showing you exactly how I make meat cookies with icing, as Kelly Hogan loves to call it. This is Kelly's favorite food, and seeing her stories with all these meat cookies, I was super inspired to try, and what do you know? I fell in love. So I just wanted to show you what I always get at Whole Foods, my go-to grocery store. Their 80/20 ground beef is amazing, especially for the price. $3.99 a pound when it's on sale is unbeatable. And if you compare it with their 80/20 ground beef patties, you are getting such a good deal. Just make the patties on your own with your hands instead of paying for $5 plus per pound. And this is the Kerrygold butter that I always get at Whole Foods, $3.79 for 8 ounces. And my favorite eggs, Vital Farms, $5.99 for an 18 count. But to be honest, I'm so impressed with Nellie's these days. Sometimes I just reach for the Nellie's, $3.99 for an 18 count pack instead of the Vital Farms. Okay, so let's get the recipe started. First, we're going to need butter, which we will use at the very end, and of course, our ground beef that I just got at Whole Foods, 80/20, $3.99 a pound, plus extra discount because I'm an Amazon Prime member. So, what we're going to need to do, and I'm telling you, it's so simple. Even though I'm the laziest cook ever, I feel like this is worth the extra energy to make these patties. So I'm using gloves just so I don't get greasy hands. All you have to do is grab a bunch of meat from the meat brick, mold it into a meatball, throw it against a plate, and flatten it. That's it. Make as many meat cookie patties as you want, and that's all the work you need to do before the cooking process begins. As the video progresses, you'll see that my meat cookies vary in shape, sizes, thickness greatly, and even though I did not do that on purpose, I truly value the difference in sizes and shapes because it adds creativity and character to each patty. So I'm saying all of this to tell you that each patty does not have to be perfect. If you are in a time crunch and you have only 1 minute to make these patties, fret not. Make it however you'd like. Once you throw it in the pan, it's going to turn out beautiful and perfect no matter what the size is. So as you saw, I preheated my pot for a few minutes. I'd say 2 minutes is enough. You just want whatever pot or pan you're using to be hot enough so that the patties land with a sizzle. When you hear that sizzle, you're doing the right thing. That will create a nice crispy crust on both sides of the patty. So I find cooking 3 minutes per side at medium heat is best. If you want it to be more well done, then increase the time per side. For me, I just do 3 minutes per side. That usually usually creates a beautiful, tender, juicy meat cookie. So when I wait for those 3 minutes per side, I use this grease splatter preventing cover. I will link it down below in my description box, but I do find it comes in handy whenever I cook things that are very fatty on a higher heat so that it doesn't splatter all over the kitchen. Once the 3 minutes are up, just flip each of the cookies over with a silicone turner. That would be best so you don't scratch your pan or pot, and cook for another 3 minutes. So a good trick to make sure that it's the right doneness if you want medium well is to just push the patty down. If it feels like your thumb muscle when you're making a fist, then you're at the right doneness. Hope that makes sense. If you're wondering what to do with the leftover fat after cooking these cookies, make sure you save it. Do not throw it away, because I personally like to put it in the fridge, let it harden up so it's like a frosting / icing. This is what Kelly Hogan loves to do, and I will use that as a dipping sauce for my cookies. But today I'll be showing you how to spread nice golden Kerrygold butter over it. Okay, so now that the cookies are done and plated, I do have to stress that you should wait a few minutes for them to completely cool down to room temperature. That way, when you do spread the butter on top as a little icing, it stays golden, beautiful, and intact. If you don't wait a few minutes and you just put it on when the patties are hot, it's just gonna melt and slip right off, and you won't even be able to tell that there's butter on the patties. So this is why I really wait a few minutes, like 5 minutes, before I spread the gorgeous creamy butter over the cookies. Oh, and with the butter, make sure that you kind of let the butter set on the table for a few hours so it gets to room temperature. I always leave a stick or a block of butter out in the kitchen, so whenever I do need to spread butter on top of anything I'm eating, it's ready to go and easy to spread, so I don't have to wait for cold or frozen butter to thaw and melt down. Baby club, yeah.
Someone you aspire to be like, you wish to play, right? One of those guys, those big guys. Well, they did that kind of training. You know, they really did. There's after all that knowledge and all that experience and all that creativity, whatever, the foundation is that hours of just boring, just grueling kind of muscle work. Okay, so.
So for tonight's dinner, I'm going to be making Walpole Valley Farms zesty Italian beef sausages. I'm pretty much letting it thaw completely before I cook it. And this is going to be for Steak and Butter Guy. So we have beef, sea salt, and a bunch of peppers, seasonings, and hog casing, I guess, to keep the sausage in place. So the ingredients are very clean. There is absolutely zero sugar. Can't wait for Steak and Butter Guy to try this. It looks really good. It's beef sausage. So while I let the food cook, I thought I would open up this beautiful fresh beef liver with all this gorgeous blood from, again, Walpole Valley Farms. So I have to take a moment and thank Chris and Caitlin for reaching out to me and sending me their gorgeous meats. So they do have a website where you can buy their grass-fed, grass-finished, pasture-raised meats that were all raised on their beautiful southern New Hampshire farm. So check them out at the link below in my description box. Okay, so I just dumped it into my Pyrex glass dish, which I will be able to seal tightly when I store it. And upon first smell, my goodness, it smells so fresh. If you can tell the color, very deep, bright, vibrant red. And look at that. Look at all that blood. So I'm gonna cut a little slice and try it raw. But wow, this is some good liver. I can just tell. So as you can see behind me, I'm cooking up the meats, but I have the fresh liver right here. This time I cut a small piece so I don't choke myself, which always happens because I get so excited. Okay, but let's give this a go. Wow. Wow. That is the best tasting liver I have ever eaten. That was straight up sweet. Like carnivore people, you know, they say there's nothing sweet in this diet. That was legit sweet. The aftertaste, no gaminess, no disgusting livery taste at all, which is what always gets me, you know? So bouncy and substantial, so fresh. So I have some here for the Simba baby boy. He's very excited and eager to try. How was it? Blink if it was yummy. Yeah. So we have the sausages for steak and butter guy, and I'm still cooking up the rest of the patties for me. And I'm going to be trying this butter for the very first time. This was also gifted to me by Walpole Valley Farms. This is going to be the first time that I have butter with sea salt in it, salted butter, because usually I eat my butter unsalted. This is what the stick looks like. So I'm very excited to compare this with my favorite cultured butter, Organic Valley one. Let's see the ingredients actually. So it's just cream, salt, and cultures, very clean. Okay, so here we have the butter. Doesn't really smell like anything, so let's just take a bite. Man, that is very salty. I was gonna take a much bigger bite, and then the moment my tongue hit the butter, it was like, whoa! So I stepped aside from the kitchen to just give a little bit more of a review of the fresh grass-fed, grass-finished liver that I tried from Walpole Valley Farms. 100%, it was seriously the freshest, most delicious liver I've ever tasted in my carnivore career. So I've tried a lot of different types of liver. I thought that Frankie's free-range liver was the best I could get my hands on, but upon tasting Walpole Valley Farms liver, I have changed my mind, because that liver was so sweet, so fresh, and the fact that it was so deep and red in color, I could just confirm that it's a very good quality liver. And just through my taste buds, I didn't taste any gaminess. I didn't taste any of the gross aftertaste that I always have a hard time swallowing whenever I eat my liver raw. But this was actually just easy peasy to chew, to enjoy and swallow. So completely, hands down, I recommend Walpole Valley Farms grass-fed, grass-finished beef liver. 10 out of 10. And the Vermont Creamery cultured butter, because it was salted, I couldn't really enjoy or give an evaluation of the flavor. So I'll have to just mark that as pending, because I need to find the brand and get the unsalted version. So that's that. Look at how beautiful these burger patties are. It's just cooking in its own fat. And I'm using Whole Foods 80/20 ground beef. But so crispy and golden. And tonight I'm going to be eating it with my leftover Nellie's free range butter. So if you are curious about all of the carnivore foods and brands that I've reviewed, I have just made a playlist of SBG reviews. So you can check out all of the foods I've reviewed and see what I recommend, what I kind of don't really like, and what I definitely dislike. This one is okay. I gave this a 6 out of 10, but it's good enough to finish, for sure. This is what I'm eating for this OMAD. We have 1.5 pounds of sirloin steak. Simba, what you doing? You smell the steak. So we have 1.5 pounds, and this is going to be my first time eating sirloin besides picanha. I've tried picanha before, but this is not picanha because the fat cap is not intact. There's no fat cap on this steak, so therefore it is just plain old sirloin steak. And with this steak, I'm going to have, don't mind the greens, it's for steak and butter guy. I'm going to have the rest of what's left in this egg carton. So we have 9 eggs. I think I'm going to boil today. Just a nice soft boil with good old steak. Okay, so we have our chopped up sirloin steak. Simba's getting ready to eat it all, but little does he know it's for me. So I have heated up this pan, just gonna throw it in, sear it for no more than 20-30 seconds, and call it a meal. Done. That was no more than 20 seconds. I turned off the heat and it's in the bowl ready to eat. I'm just gonna let it cool down. Usually with a whole cut of steak, I always let it rest. So I'm just gonna do the same even though these are steak bites. And I'm gonna now cook my eggs. So I've decided instead of boiling it, I actually am in the mood to scramble. So I'm just gonna scramble some eggs now. So instead of scrambling eggs with butter, what I ended up doing was just scrambling with 0.25-ish pounds of ground beef that I had left over in the fridge. I just treated the beef as the fat to scramble my eggs with. It was delicious. Yo, look at Steak and Butter Guy's keto salad. So what is it? Mushrooms, tomato, and greens.
That's it.
That's it. And again, look at these. Dun dun dun. Simba. I'm just so glad that you're not eating like processed keto chips and snacks and bars. Like, this is acceptable.
You definitely cannot include that in your thing.
Simba, you deserve a little tiny piece of sirloin too because you're part of the SB fam, aren't you? How is it? Blink if it was yummy. Yes, he blinked immediately. Are you still drooling? Oh my god, he's still drooling. Oh, look at that drool. Oh. So I just want you guys to see what happens every single time I sit down to eat my carnivore meal. Hi, Simba. Is there something that I can help you with, Mr. Simba boy? He's slow blinking because it's so obvious to him that he's supposed to eat my food, basically. So, dun 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 dun. Bam. Can I help you? Okay, so this is what I'm eating for today, and Steak and Butter Guy is over there eating his Flying Dutchman style burgers. We're finishing up Shameless. This is the last episode of season 10, right? Season 10. I'm having scrambled eggs mixed in with my ground beef and a block of Kerrygold butter, some iced water. Did you have a great dinner? He already ate and he wants more, as usual. Welcome to day 5's meal. I'm making 鸡蛋牛肉, which is basically the meal that I taught you guys to do in my last What I Eat in a Week video. Just stir-fried egg and beef. However, I'm doing a quick twist where I delay scrambling the yolks. Basically how I scramble my eggs, but mixed with beef. Super simple. You just throw in the beef into your pan, crack in the eggs, only start scrambling the whites with the beef, and then at the very end, you can scramble the yolks into the beef so that the yolks are still very nutrient dense and not overcooked.